Welcome to my channel. Today, I want to ask you a question. Do you feel like you study English but don't really improve? You spend time, memorize words, and read grammar rules, but when it's time to speak, your mind goes blank. You open your mouth, but the words don't come out. If this sounds familiar, stay with me because this video is made for you. Many learners face the same problem. They work hard, but they don't see results. They feel tired, frustrated, and sometimes they even want to give up. But don't give up yet, because there is another way. In this video, you will learn the secrets of super efficient English learning. These methods are not about working harder. They are about working smarter. You will see how to get maximum results with minimum effort. You will learn how to use English in a natural way, make progress without feeling stressed, and enjoy the process. Step by step, I will show you powerful tricks that anyone can use. And at the end, I will reveal the most powerful secret that makes all of these methods work perfectly together. You don't want to miss it. So, let's begin. Chapter 1. The Problem with Traditional Learning. Let me tell you a story about a man named David. David was from Brazil. He had a big dream. He wanted to get a better job in an international company, but for that, he needed English. So, David decided to study hard. Every evening after work, he opened his grammar books. He studied tenses, present perfect, past continuous, future, conditional. He read about irregular verbs and tried to remember long lists of vocabulary. Apple, book, car, desk, elephant. He copied words many times into his notebook. He stayed up late, sometimes until midnight, trying to push all this information into his brain. But here's the problem. After 3 months, David felt very tired. He had studied a lot, but when he tried to speak, nothing came out. At work, he wanted to say one simple sentence in English, but his mind went blank. He could remember rules, but he could not use them. He knew hundreds of words, but he could not put them into a conversation. His English looked strong on paper but weak in real life. Does this sound familiar to you? Have you ever felt tired after studying English for hours but still couldn't remember simple phrases when you needed them? You are not alone. Millions of English learners around the world have the same experience. They spend so much time and energy but don't see real results. And this is why many learners feel disappointed, even hopeless. They think, maybe I'm not smart enough. Maybe English is too hard for me. But the truth is different. The problem is not you. The problem is the method. Traditional learning is heavy and full of pressure. Think about the way most schools teach English. The teacher gives you a grammar book. You study rules about conditionals, passive voice, and modal verbs. You write exercises and memorize irregular verb tables. Go, went, gone, eat, ate, eaten. Maybe you get a high score on a test, but when a tourist asks you for directions on the street, you freeze. You studied so much, but you cannot say, turn left at the corner. Why? Because traditional learning teaches you about English but does not teach you how to use English. Imagine learning to swim only by reading a book about swimming. You read about how to move your arms and legs, breathing techniques, and even memorize swimming vocabulary. But when you finally go to the pool, you sink. Why? Because reading about swimming is not the same as swimming. The same is true for English. Reading rules is not the same as speaking. Writing word lists is not the same as using words in real conversations. Here's the key point. Efficiency means results, not effort. You don't become a good English speaker just because you work hard. You become good when your method gives results. And the truth is, traditional methods give very little result for the time you spend. They make you feel like you are learning, but when the real moment comes, you cannot use what you learned. Let's go back to David. After months of studying, he was exhausted. He wanted to give up. One evening, he said to himself, I studied for 3 hours today, but I still cannot say one simple sentence without mistakes. What is wrong with me? Nothing was wrong with David. He was smart and motivated, but he was following the wrong path. The traditional path is like trying to climb a huge mountain with a heavy backpack. You feel tired before you reach the top. Now, think about yourself. Maybe you also tried this way. You sat with your grammar book, memorized vocabulary lists, and filled pages with exercises. But when a real person asked you a question in English, your brain went silent. You wanted to answer, but no words came. Does this sound familiar? If yes, then you are starting to see the truth. Traditional learning is not efficient. It takes your time and energy but does not give you the result you want. And here comes the exciting part. If the problem is not you but the method, then the solution is simple. You don't need to change yourself. You don't need to become smarter or work harder. You just need a better method. A method that gives more results in less time. A method that helps you use English, not just study it. That's what this video is about. In the next chapters, I will show you how to leave the heavy traditional way behind and start using the super efficient way. You will learn how to make progress without stress, without pressure, and without wasting your time. Stay with me because what you are about to hear will change the way you think about learning English forever. Chapter 2. The Secret of Input, Listening and Reading. Now that we understand the problem with traditional learning, let me tell you about a powerful secret. This secret is called input. Input means what goes into your brain, the English you hear and the English you read. It's like food for your language brain. Without input, your brain is hungry. With input, your brain becomes strong. Many learners make the mistake of trying to produce English too soon. They try to memorize grammar rules and force themselves to speak before their brain is ready. But efficient learners understand that input comes before output. Just like a baby hears thousands of hours of language before saying the first word, you also need to hear and read a lot of English before you can speak fluently. Let me tell you a story. There was a girl named Amina from Morocco who wanted to improve her English, but she was busy with work and family. She didn't have time for long classes or heavy textbooks. Instead, she made a small change. Every day, she watched one short YouTube video in English, a funny clip, a cooking recipe, or a travel vlog. At first, she understood very little, but she always used English subtitles. Slowly, her brain started to catch words and phrases. She also loved music, so she listened to English songs every evening while washing dishes. She looked at the lyrics and sang along. It was fun and easy. It didn't feel like studying. After 3 months, something amazing happened. Amina could recognize many common phrases. She understood jokes in videos. When she listened to songs, she could catch whole lines without looking at the lyrics. She wasn't memorizing grammar or doing boring exercises. She was simply surrounding herself with English every day, and her brain was learning naturally. Now, I want to ask you directly. Have you ever noticed that you can study grammar for hours but forget it the next day? But when you watch your favorite TV show in English, some words stay in your head without effort. That's the power of input. Your brain loves stories, music, and images. When you connect words to feelings and context, they stick. Here's a challenge for you tonight. Before you go to sleep, try watching one short video in English with subtitles. It doesn't need to be long. Even 2 minutes is enough. Don't worry if you don't understand everything. Don't pause or translate. Just watch and listen. You'll be surprised at how much your brain catches. The next day, watch the same video again. The second time, you'll understand more. This simple action is 10 times more powerful than memorizing a list of 20 random words. Think about how babies learn. They don't sit with grammar books or study verb tables. They hear the language again and again from parents, cartoons, and songs. After months of listening, they start to speak. At first, their sentences are short and simple, but they are real, living sentences. You can learn the same way. Give your brain enough input, and speaking will come naturally. Many learners are afraid of listening. They say, "It's too fast. I don't understand." But here's the good news. You don't need to understand everything. Even if you understand only 30%, your brain is still working, catching sounds, rhythm, and patterns. Over time, your percentage goes up. 30 becomes 50, 50 becomes 70. And soon, you'll surprise yourself. Reading is also powerful input. Start small. Read one headline, one simple story, or one short article. Don't try to understand every single word. Just let your eyes see English every day. The more your brain sees English, the more familiar it becomes. It's like watering a plant. Small drops every day make the plant grow strong. Now, let's go back to Amina. After 6 months of daily input, she met a tourist from England in her city. The tourist asked her for directions in English. At first, Amina felt nervous, but then she realized she understood the question. She answered with simple words, and the tourist understood her. She couldn't believe it. She didn't study grammar rules or memorize long lists, but she could communicate. That's the magic of input. So, remember this. Input comes before output. Listening and reading are the keys that open the door to speaking and writing. If you surround yourself with English every day, your brain will do the hard work for you. You don't need to force it. Just like a baby, you can grow naturally into the language. Stay with me because, in the next chapter, we'll talk about the secret of small daily habits. You'll see why even 5 minutes a day can change your English forever. Chapter 3. The Magic of Small Daily Habits. Now, let's talk about something very important. Something that can change the way you think about learning English forever. The magic of small daily habits. Many learners believe they need long hours of study to improve. They think, if I can study for 2 hours every Saturday, I'll get better. But the truth is different. 2 hours once a week is not as powerful as 5 minutes every single day. Yes, just 5 minutes can beat 2 hours. How is that possible? Because the brain learns best with small, repeated steps. Let me give you an example. Imagine you want to get strong muscles. If you go to the gym once a week and lift heavy weights for 2 hours, you'll feel very tired. Your muscles will hurt, and maybe you'll even give up after a few weeks. But if you do 10 push-ups every single day, it's easy. It takes only 1 minute. You don't feel pressure. And after 1 month, you're stronger than the person who goes to the gym only once a week. This is because consistency is more important than intensity. Small actions done daily create big changes. The same is true for English. If you spend 5 minutes each day listening to English, reading one short text, or practicing one useful sentence, your brain is getting repeated input. Every day, your brain is touching English. It becomes familiar, like a friend you see every day. After weeks and months, the results will surprise you. Now, let's make this even clearer. Imagine you learn one useful English sentence every single day. Just one. For example, Day 1. Could you say that again, please? Day 2. What do you call this in English? Another day. Can I have a cup of tea, please? Simple, useful sentences. After 1 year, you'll know 365 sentences. Think about that. With 365 sentences, you can handle almost any daily situation. Ordering food, asking for help, introducing yourself, starting a conversation. You don't need thousands of words or complicated grammar. Just 365 sentences can open the world to you. Isn't that exciting? Let me tell you a story. There was a young man named Leo from Italy. Leo always wanted to speak English, but he was busy with work. He thought he didn't have time. One day, he decided to try something new. He gave himself one rule: I will do at least 5 minutes of English every day. Some days, he listened to an English song. Some days, he read one short news headline. Some days, he practiced one sentence out loud. Only 5 minutes. At first, it felt too easy, but that was the point. It was so easy he couldn't say no. After 3 months, Leo noticed something strange. He could remember many sentences without trying. When he watched movies, he understood common expressions. When he met tourists in Rome, he felt confident to say hello and start a small conversation. He wasn't fluent yet, but he was using English in real life. And he realized something powerful. Those 5 minutes were growing. Some days, he wanted to do more. 10 minutes, 15 minutes, but without pressure. He discovered that small habits grow naturally into bigger habits. Now, let me ask you directly. What sounds easier to you? Studying for 2 hours every Saturday or spending 5 minutes every day? Which one can you keep doing for 1 year without giving up? Of course, 5 minutes. And here's the secret. 5 minutes every day is more effective. It builds a strong habit, keeps your brain fresh, and makes English part of your life, not just part of your study. Think again about Leo's story. He didn't sit with heavy books or force himself to memorize long lists. He just touched English every single day, and because of that, he made progress without stress. You can do the same. Start today. Choose one tiny action. Listen to one short audio, read one sentence, or practice one phrase out loud. Do it every day. It's small, but it's powerful. So, remember this golden rule. Small daily habits create big results. Don't wait for the perfect time or a free weekend. Start now with 5 minutes. Your future self will thank you. Stay with me because, in the next chapter, we'll talk about how to use English actively without pressure. You'll see how simple actions, like speaking one sentence out loud, can give you real confidence. Chapter 4. Active Use Without Pressure. Up until now, we've talked about why traditional learning feels heavy, how input through listening and reading shapes your brain, and how small habits create real progress. But there's one moment every learner must face: the moment of using English. Many learners are afraid of this step. They keep studying, but when they try to speak or write, they feel frozen. They tell themselves, "I'm not ready yet. I need more vocabulary. I need more grammar." But here's the truth. If you wait until you feel ready, you'll wait forever. The secret is to start using English now, but without pressure. Think of the difference between studying English and using English. Studying is when you sit with a book, try to memorize words, or analyze grammar rules. This is like preparing for a game. But using English is like playing the game itself. Talking, writing, sending messages, commenting, or even saying a phrase out loud in your room. Too many learners get stuck in preparation mode. They study for years but never step onto the field. And when they finally try, they panic because they have no practice in real action. That's why you need to bring English into daily use in small, pressure-free steps. Let's start with something very simple: speaking one sentence aloud. Right now, I want you to repeat after me. Ready? The sentence is, "Could you say that again, please?" This is a very useful phrase in daily life. If someone speaks too fast, you can use it. Now, say it out loud right now. Don't just think it in your head, really say it. "Could you say that again, please?" Good. Do you feel it? Your mouth is practicing. Your brain is connecting. This small action is not about perfection. It's about breaking the fear barrier. Here's another example: leaving a comment in English. It doesn't need to be long or perfect. Imagine you watch a video and type, "Nice video. Thank you." That's already using English. Or maybe you listen to a song and write, "I love this song." Small actions like this build the muscle of communication. You don't need to write an essay, just use English in real life, little by little. And here's one more: sending a short message. You don't have to write a long letter. Maybe you send a friend, "Good morning," or message someone online, "How are you?" These tiny uses of English feel easy but are powerful. They teach your brain, "I can do this." And the more you do it, the stronger your confidence grows. Let me share a story. I once met a learner who always studied quietly. He read grammar books, watched videos, and filled notebooks with words. But when it came time to speak, he felt stuck. Then he changed his method. Instead of waiting for the perfect moment, he started saying just one sentence out loud every day. Sometimes he asked himself, "What did I eat today?" and answered in English, "I ate rice." Other times, he looked around his room and said, "This is my chair." That is my desk. At first, it felt silly, but after some weeks, he noticed something magical. When someone asked him a question in English, he answered without thinking too much. The practice had built a bridge in his brain. Suddenly, he wasn't scared to use English. That's the power of practice without pressure. When you remove the idea that you must be perfect, you open the door to real growth. Nobody expects you to speak like a native right now. Even if your sentence is simple, it's valuable. Remember, studying English fills your brain, but using English gives it life. So, let me ask you directly, will you take action today? Will you speak just one sentence aloud, send one short message, or write one small comment? If you do, you're not just learning, you're living the language. The path to confidence is not big, dramatic steps. It's these small, daily uses of English without fear, without judgment, without pressure. And every time you do it, you move closer to the moment when English feels natural. Chapter 5. Technology as your free teacher. Let me tell you a story. A young learner once felt stuck with English. He had studied for years, but grammar books and heavy lessons always left him tired. One day, he decided to do something simple. He changed the language of his phone from his native language to English. At first, it felt strange. When he wanted to open his photos, he saw Gallery. When he checked his messages, he saw Inbox. He didn't understand every word, but slowly, without realizing it, he started learning new words every single day. After just 1 month, he could recognize more than 50 useful English words, not from a dictionary, not from a class, but from the device he used every day. Now, think about your own life. How many hours do you spend on your phone? Maybe 3 hours, maybe 5, maybe even more. Here's the thing. Your phone is already in your hand for 5 hours a day. Why not make those 5 hours your English classroom? Udanti siliconberry tahu saya jika anda ingin saya melanjutkan merevisi sisatek atau jika anda memiliki permintaan khusus lainnya.